he might work against them. So I think that the ref did his job, and I think he had an alright game.
As you say, a real team effort today. In terms of Calvin Phillips, though, I mean, was he part of a back three, or was he playing a sweeper role? What was his role today?
No, he was part of a back three. He was playing middle of the three, and then I think they changed formation second half, and he moved into the holding midfield role. But he can play anywhere, really. That guy, I think he can play anywhere in midfield. Maybe not the wings. He ain't quite got the pace for that, but he's a top player and he'll go far. So.
And just finally, I do sense that for all the disappointment after the results at Old Trafford, the way in which that you've worked hard, you've ground out a victory and played some good football as well, but I sense this is a real boost of your confidence today.
Yeah, it was important after losing not only a match against your rivals but losing 6-2. I think that it's important that you come back and show a different side to yourselves and show that it hasn't affected you, more importantly. And I think that it was important. 1-0 win, as I said before, it is nice sometimes just to grind it out and get the 3 points.
Yeah, good result for Leeds United today. They've been praised a lot in recent times, Gary Neville most notably. Love to watch them play, great football. You know, it reminds me a lot of what Bill Shankly used to say about West Ham United. Lovely club, family club, 3 points. But David Connolly was with me today. Leeds United, they had to grind that out against Burnley today. That last 10 minutes was a tough watch for the purists, but it was a great result for Leeds United.
Yeah, it was. I cannot believe the goal for Burnley was disallowed. It's just unfathomable. I don't know. I mean, what has the referee seen there apart from, you know, the goalkeeper Mesley clattering into Ben Mee? I mean, that is it.
What do you think he's given it for? What's your assessment of it? Because he has given it, and VAR's obviously backed it up as well.
It's absolutely, I give up with VAR. It's absolutely useless. And the issue is Ben Mee, sometimes you might not get that if you've got eyes on the goalkeeper. Yeah. Invariably, he always goes the goalkeeper's way. But he only had eyes for the ball, and if your goalkeeper comes out, as he does, Mesley likes to do that, if he comes flying out, charging out of his, 6-yard box or whatever, almost to the edge of the box, and he doesn't take that cleanly, and he clatters an opposition player, I mean, that's a penalty. I'm staggered, and I can wholeheartedly agree with Sean Dyche and his sentiments. Absolutely, I thought it was disgraceful.
Listen, on Leeds though, what about Patrick Bamford there? A great interview I thought he gave. He's a good talker, Bamford, and he's now scored 10 goals this season in the Premier League, including a hat-trick at Villa Park a few weeks ago as well. You would have watched him for years and years and years, many clubs, relegations on his CV. What do you make to his performances this season?
I think it's great because, look, I was a player like Patrick who took a while to get a chance in the Premier League, and then when I did, I scored my debut. I thought, right, this is the start of many. I had loads of injuries and could never get back in the team, and before you know it, your sort of chance is gone. And I think that unless he'd have got promoted with Leeds, he probably wouldn't have got a chance, would he? Let's be honest. He would not have got a chance, and then he would have been another player that people say wasn't good enough, whatever. And I'm not saying one sort of summer, whatever. He's had a great season so far, and you cannot take that away from him. His confidence, his tail is up. I saw him at Stamford Bridge, where I thought he finished absolutely superbly around Mendy. Got on the end of a terrific through ball from Calvin Phillips and showed real composure. And what's great is he's got a thick skin that none of whatever's said about him previously or currently seems to affect him. Just gets on with his game, and his tail is up. We saw those couple of goals. I think was it against Villa, where his footwork in the box was magnificent. Yeah, he banged 2 in the top corner, and it's great that there was a manager that retained faith in him. Because you get some managers go, do you know what, he's not quite good enough for the Premier League, and he'll get us up, but then we'll get rid of him. That happens all over the place, and it's great that he's been given that opportunity.
I love how you went with one swallow does not a summer make there. You were so close. I admire you for it.
I knew you'd finish it off, though.
Of course. You set him up and I'll knock him down.
Back in there.
Listen, that was the Leeds game. Good result for them. What about West Ham up against Brighton? 2-2 it finished. The 7th time West Ham have played Brighton since the Seagulls got promoted, and they have still not beaten them. What happened, Adam?
West Ham 2, Brighton 2, David Moyes' side twice come from behind to grab a point. Neil Mopai opened the scoring just before half-time, But after a very defensive first period, David Moyes changed formation at half-time, his side very quickly responding, Ben Johnson with the equalising goal. Lewis Dunk fired Brighton back ahead. It was short-lived though. West Ham fired straight back. A goal from a familiar source, a corner kick, Souček on the end of this one. Disappointment for Brighton, having twice led in this game, an opportunity missed to create some breathing room between themselves and those at the bottom, you feel. It finishes here, West Ham 2, Brighton 2.
Dedoncker speaking earlier on, terrible performance from West Ham in the opening 45 minutes. David Moyes home against struggling Brighton, picking 5 defenders and 3 defensive midfielders, quite rightly getting some serious stick for his team selection today, where he's got lots of praise for his performances over the last 6 months or so as West Ham manager. Let's hear from him post-match.
In hindsight, it wasn't the right decision. It was something I discussed for a while. I tried to get Jared and Seb playing up front at the start, hoping that I could probably the two of them might give us something slightly different. We're trying to find a solution to losing Arthur and Mickey Antonio, which we're looking closely to see if there's other things within the squad, because we know that we had a balance in the team and we had a way we played which helped us. So we're trying to find that. Well, obviously, as you all well know, we're missing Mickey, but even Arthur, for that balance which we talk about, which in many ways has improved Aaron Creswell's game, it gave us a lot of good wins at the start of the season. So we've been looking to find a way of, could we anyway find to get back to it. And young Ben done fine at it, but we decided tonight that we'd go with sort of more of a 5-3-2. So yeah, in hindsight, the second half was much better, and it looked better that way.
Yeah, if West Ham didn't get something from that game, you feel the knives might be out for David Moyes for some fans. David Connolly, former West Ham striker, was with me. What on earth was that team? What was that first half performance?
Well, yeah, it was, I guess, disappointing, especially after the sort of Chelsea defeat, which you wouldn't say was necessarily a heavy one, or they played really poorly in that game, not at all. But coming into this game, you think, right, go on then, go back to your best. And he's alluded to the fact that obviously everyone knows they're going to miss Marcal and even Masuaku, I know that, but still Marcal's the big one. Going with 5 at home makes no sense. Mark Noble as a number 10, that hasn't happened since last season, I think. It was the last time he played as a 10. So yeah, the fans weren't happy, and to be honest, look, the West Ham fans were saying this was going to be a disaster before a ball was kicked. So if the West Ham fans can see that, well, I don't know what David Moyes is hoping for.
No,
in the end, look, they got away with, I think, a point, because it looked like Souček on the header might have used his arm in some way.
Yeah, but so did Lewis Dunk as well, but apparently it doesn't count. Sometimes handball matters, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes, as we saw with Burnley, it's a penalty, other times it's not. Who knows what the rules are these days. Brighton should have won, didn't. Story of their time in the Premier League, really. One other game in the Premier League today we've not had time to mention. Toby Gillis was covering Liverpool against West Bromwich Albion for us. He's filed this report.
Sam Allardyce arrived at Anfield with his new West Brom side, having never lost to Jurgen Klopp there in 3 attempts, and there's something about him the Champions coach just can't work out. Set up in, without the ball at least, a 5-5-0 system, there was a clear game plan. Let Liverpool have the ball and challenge them to find space that simply wasn't there. But it didn't work. As soon as the 12th minute they fell behind. A little mistake by Semi Ajayi allowed Sadio Mane to get goal side of him as Joel Matip delivered an awkward ball at chest height, but the Senegalese took it beautifully, then stabbed first time past Sam Johnston to give Liverpool the lead. You feared for the Baggies at that point, but belief in the system is the key to Sam Allardyce's firefighting, so they kept doing the same and restricted their hosts to mere half chances. There was a little more about them in the second half, albeit while staying careful not to give space, and really it was West Brom who offered the greater threat. Karlan Grant going close on a couple of occasions, shooting straight at Alisson twice, first from the edge of the box on 51, then when outpacing substitute centre-half Reece Williams with 18 to play. You assumed that'd be the wake-up call Liverpool needed, but not so. And when West Brom were given a corner, Ajayi came up to get in the mixer. Taken short to Mateus Pereira, back after suspension to come off the bench. He bent the ball perfectly onto the centre oval, while the champions trudged off frustrated. It finished Liverpool 1, West Brom 1.
Yeah, there's a game no one really saw coming. I think everyone was going 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 pre-kickoff. David Connolly, Sam Allardyce, he comes in, he does what he does, and he gets a point at Anfield.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, even at half-time, I was, coming in and listening to it on the radio. He was getting a lot of stick, and everyone says it's a terrible way to play football. Well, it's one way that you can try and get a result, and probably with what's at his disposal, that was the only way to go. Look, Fulham got a point against him, you got to remember as well.
Yes.
So it is possible. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but obviously saying that, considering they put 7 past Palace, anyone would have seen that coming.
What about this wider form with Liverpool? Failed to win 6 of their 15 Premier League games this season, as many as they did in the entirety of last season in the league. They've got fans there. I know it's only 2,000, but they did have home support from the Kop, and I think in the Anfield Road as well, maybe the main stand actually, but certainly in the Kop today they had a lot of support there, vocal support. So if we take that away, what's happening?
I don't know, it's hard to, I guess, put your finger on it. I think there's certainly a case for, as we know, he's spoken about substitutes, hasn't he? There's obviously about the volume of games, you name it. For Jurgen, I think there's been a lot of that in the media in terms of your squad being fit. Mourinho's had a pop back, hasn't he? About saying, hang on a minute, you haven't got that smaller squad. But I guess that's what Jurgen's getting at, that maybe he can foresee a couple of issues coming in and on the horizon that maybe others can't, in terms of what his squad has got, what they're producing in training every week, maybe that they're liable to maybe dip below their levels. I don't know, maybe Salah's a bit tired at times, or Mane or whatever, I don't know, who knows, but that other striker that they need, certainly a sort of 20 goal a season central striker, that they still don't have him, do they? They don't have that 20 goal central striker. Yes, they've got incredible goals from their wide men, and Firmino is brilliant at linking the play, and he'll get you 10, 12, 15, but they do need that next one. And I guess they thought Jota would do that, and he has done that when he's fit, but maybe they just need one more.
Well, the January transfer window, the Christmas window, as I like to think of it, even though it's not Christmas, but I think it's more fun that way. It is open very, very soon. Before then, though, there are plenty more games to come. We're back with you tomorrow. Another game week start, 24 hours. We return with Palace against Leicester tomorrow morning, and the cavalcade of Christmas fixtures continues. We're going to focus on our game when we come back in a few moments, as we count down to kick off in around 15 minutes from now. It is Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Tottenham Hotspur, who are looking to get back into the title race themselves, following just 1 point from their last 3. We'll talk about Wolves and Spurs and hear from the bosses when we come back. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Talk Sport. Impress lost tribespeople of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated Talk Sport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at talksport.com now. The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein, and of course you can hear me on the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy. We'll be taking all your calls, texts, tweets and emails on all the big talking points from the weekend's football. And remember, we bring you the very first look at the next day's back page headlines every single night.
The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to talksport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new Talk Sport swimming pool. Go! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10, when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Driving Home with Darren Goff and Durham. A sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him. I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4, only on TalkSport.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs on Sport. TalkSport. It's the double O duo of the radio show that's like a collapsible bridge over a shark-infested pool of big names, sporting headlines, and topical debate. Join Paul Alligator Hopscotch Hawksby and Andy Oddjob Jacobs, flying the plane of sporting entertainment out of the horse's bum of conventional radio.
Have we got pussy galore on the show, Andy?
No, Paul, but we've got Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup. Will that do?
Not really, Andy, no.
Hawksby and Jacobs, shaken but not stirred. Weekday afternoons from 1 on TalkSport.
TalkSport.
Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents, and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from TalkSport.com. Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder. TalkSport.
You're listening to Premier League Live. The final game of Sunday the 27th of December comes from Molineux. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Tottenham Hotspur. Tom Money and David Connolly, your commentary team. Team news-wise, for Wolverhampton Wanderers, Rui Patricio is in goal, back four left to right. Marcal, Roman Saiss, Coady and Semedo. Midfield trio, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho and Daniel Podence. Looks like he'll play a touch deeper this evening because Traore's back in the starting 11 with Neto and Silva up front with him. Still no Raul Jimenez in the matchday squad, though we have seen some pictures of him in a box at Molineux today. The first time he's been to a game since the fractured skull he picked up against Arsenal. As for Spurs, Lloris in goal, back three tonight, Eric Dier, Davinson Sanchez and Ben Davies. Midfield trio of Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg and Harry Winks, and Ndombele in front of those two. Matt Doherty back at Wolves, where he served for such a long time in the right wing-back role. That's where he is tonight. The left is Reguilon for Spurs, with Kane and Son the front two. Gareth Bale not in the squad. We'll get a match preview with David Connolly in just a few moments. Now, though, let's hear from the two bosses, Nuno Espirito Santo of Wolves and Jose Mourinho of Spurs.
I have huge admiration, as you can imagine, for Mourinho on a personal level. And as a man, he's fantastic. So I'm not surprised at all. All the good things that he's doing in Tottenham at all. He's amazing.
It's very, very hard in this league to have consistent runs. It's very, very hard. Every game is very difficult. We were in a period where we had to play against the considered top six teams, where we got them in a row.
We are not in a good moment. We have issues. We are dragging issues from the game of Chelsea. Even in the game of Burnley, in the bench, there were players that we are not able to put on the pitch. And we have issues. Among them are Leander. He's improving, but he's not with the group yet.
But you think I'm competing against Liverpool, and I'm not competing against Liverpool. I'm competing against every opponent, every match. We want to win. That's as simple as that. We are not looking to Liverpool. We are not looking to anybody else. We are looking to the next match, and the next match we want to win.
I think I should apologize first of all for the timing of my comments. Probably were not in the best moment to come across, because sometimes it's due and can happen bad interpretations of it. But for that I will apologize on my timing, but I will not apologize on my words and my thoughts. I never ever will judge or question the integrity of a referee. I never did it. I will probably never do it in my life. But what I said is about the ability of the referee, what I felt and what I saw the match, on the previous matches.
I don't think we can do anything else that we are doing. I don't believe the tier 2, 3 or 4 is going to change anything. Since the beginning that we try to protect ourselves, to protect each other, to protect families and friends, and to behave. But in spite of that, I think now and again appears a little focus or somebody in every club. What can we do? I don't think what we can do more than we all are doing.
Yeah, thoughts there of Jose Mourinho and Nuno Espirito Santo. No fans here this evening. This is a tier 4 area, so no supporters in Molineux, but I still admire their dedication to the pre-match atmosphere. They're still doing the light show, they're still doing the music, they're still at least revving us up, David Connolly, for this game. Wolves against Tottenham, how do you see this going?
Well, I think that, certainly I think Jose want to get back to a victory in the Premier League. If you look at how he set up against Liverpool, he's very unlucky, wasn't he, until late. A bit subdued against Leicester, and I think he'll be looking to carry a bit of momentum from the midweek cup performance. He seems very happy, doesn't he, at Tottenham? He really does. Far happier than he was at United. Seems to be less problems, less troublesome players, apart from maybe Dele Alli. He's probably the one, a bit like Pogba, wants to get out. But other than that, he seems to have a very good, dressing room. Kane and Son are absolutely on fire. Harry Kane's thrived under Mourinho, when a lot of people were questioning, did he only thrive or not only thrive under Poch, but he loved playing under Poch like a lot of these players did. So he can take an awful lot of credit, right? And they'll be looking to, I guess, play Wolves at their own game, trying to hit them on the counter. Neither of these teams enjoy a lot of possession, and neither team probably wants to have the lion's share. Their strength is actually on the counter attack. But certainly I think Tottenham are looking to get back to winning ways here.
Tottenham's players are standing on the stands at Molineux, coming in from the makeshift new changing room they've built during these COVID restriction times. Wolves players emerging from the usual home dressing room as we talk. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, full match commentary of the final game of your Boxing Day weekend of fixtures. That is Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Tottenham. Kick-off next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Talk Sport. Impress lost tribespeople of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated Talk Sport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at talksport.com now. The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein, and of course you can hear me on the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy. We'll be taking all your calls, text, tweets and emails on all the big talking points from the weekend's football. And remember, we bring you the very first look at the next day's back page headlines every single night.
The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to talksport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new Talk Sport swimming pool. Goff! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10, when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Driving home with Darren Goff and Durham, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him. I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4, only on Talk Sport. Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs on Sport. Talk Sport. It's the double O duo on the radio show that's like a collapsible bridge over a shark-infested pool of big names, sporting headlines, and topical debate. Join Paul Alligator Hopscotch Hawksby and Andy Oddjob Jacobs, flying the plane of sporting entertainment out of the horse's bum of conventional radio.
Have we got pussy galore on the show, Andy?
No, Paul, but we've got Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup. Will that do?
Not really, Andy, no.
Hawksby and Jacobs, shaken but not stirred. Weekday afternoons from 1 on TalkSport.
TalkSport. Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from TalkSport.com. Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder. TalkSport.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Wolverhampton Wanderers against Tottenham Hotspur from Molineux. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former West Ham United, Leicester City and Wolves striker David Connolly. This is Premier League Live, and just like Christmas turkey on the 27th of December, the goals have dried up for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and just like so many of us around the world, they need that sweet gravy of goals to make things all right again this evening in the absence of Raul Jimenez. As for Spurs, top of the league on December 15th. Since then, 1 point in 3. They need to get back to winning ways as soon as possible as we approach the start of 2021, or the title race for them might be over just a couple of weeks after it seemed to finally begin. To the team news this evening, starting with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rui Patricio is in goal. Back four tonight, left to right of Marcal, Roman Saiss, Conor Coady and Nelson Semedo. Midfield trio, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho and Daniel Podence. Up front, Pedro Neto, Fabio Silva and Adama Traore. The bench, John Ruddy, Kiana Hoover, Ryan Ait-Nouri, Vitinha, Taylor Perry, Luke Cundle, Max Kilman, Owen Otasowie and also Theo Corbeñao, as Heung-min Son gets an early chance here. Ball over the top to him, which is lovely into his path, actually. He got the shot at Rui Patricio, made the save. I'll run through the Spurs 11 for you shortly, but actually within 30 seconds here, we've got a corner to Tottenham, one from Patricio's save after Son's effort. So the Spurs team shortly. First is corner to Spurs on the attacking left-hand side, which Son is over. It's low, it's bouncing, it's half away, only as far as Davis, then back to Ndombele! And Spurs have scored! Less than a minute gone, we've not even had time to give you the teams before one of the Spurs players has scored. Ndombele from distance, it ricocheted through a crowd, left Patricio wrong-footed, and has left Spurs in the lead.
Well, what a start this is from Tottenham. I mean, it's a long, hopeful ball forward, which actually enables Son to get in behind. They won the corner. As it is, the ball skips out, ends up at the far post. Ben Davies keeps it alive, just sets it to Ndombele, who's completely unmarked on the edge of the box. He rifles it with his right peg, doesn't really take a deflection. I'm not too sure, maybe Patricio's a little bit wrong-footed, maybe he felt it was going in the far corner. It took a little nick, to be honest, off a Wolves defender, but terrific strike. What a start here for Tottenham.
Second Premier League goal of the season for Tanganga Ndombele, celebrating his 24th birthday tomorrow. First time he scored since the 6-1 humbling of Manchester United at Old Trafford. And we may have time to give you the Spurs team shortly, who are already winning away here at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Hugo Lloris, their goalkeeper, back three of Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dier. Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg and Harry Winks holding midfield. Matt Doherty back at Wolves. First time he's returned since signing from them in the summer on the right. Sergio Reguilon on the left with Harry Kane, Heung-min Son up front. And as we mentioned, Tanganga Ndombele is playing in the number 10 role, already on the score sheet this evening. On the bench tonight for Tottenham Hotspur, no Gareth Bale, not in the matchday squad, but there is Joe Hart, Toby Alderweireld, Eric Lamela, Joe Rodon, Moussa Sissoko, Dele Alli, Stephen Bergwijn, Serge Aurier and Japhet Tanganga. 9 subs. Deep breath. Referee Paul Tierney, VAR David Coote, Andre Mariner down there as the fourth official. You're meant to say old gold for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they're not playing in that colour these days. It's orange, or amber at best, with black shorts and amber socks. So they kick from right to left as we look first half. Spurs the other way, left to right, green shirts, black shorts and green socks. And they have the lead at the moment. David Connolly, barely time to ask you what you're expecting this evening. Has it all changed already?
An early goal, I think, and that's what I was going to say. And obviously we've got it, so I'm a genius. Really good start, and I think that obviously Mourinho will be absolutely delighted.
At the other end here, Wolves looking to counter with Neto's ball in, whipped across the face from left to right from Pedro Neto. No one there to turn it home. Young Fabio Silva couldn't get his head on that, and it's out of play, in fact, for a throw on the far side. Well,
he's certainly been the brightest spark, Neto, of late. I mean, lovely little right-foot step over, went to the byline, good ball across, but just slightly ahead of Silva. He sort of looks to him with his hands down as if to say, put it on the deck or a little bit lower, slightly too far in front of me.
Well, Wolves twice came from behind to win 3-2 at Spurs in the most recent meeting in March, so it won't be something that phases them too much to go down this early, but a second goal here might change all that. Over the top towards Matt Doherty, can't get on the end of it. Saiss away into Coady for Wolves, who makes his 250th appearance for the club tonight. Just gathered themselves after what was a pretty traumatic start.
Yeah, and there's a little shot there of Raul Jimenez. He's got his mask on, but obviously great to see him at a live game. Just looking at Harry Kane, he's often dropped very deep, hasn't he, linking the play, and Son's the one who provides that threat in behind with his pace, but certainly Harry Kane has been the deeper one, and actually Ndombele is so high, he's almost playing as a number 10, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks like he's in a very advanced position. We did get that formation given to us a little bit earlier on, but of course you never quite know what the formation's going to be until you kick off. But it does look, as David Connolly says, that Ndombele is playing behind a front two this evening, and he scored a really terrific goal to get Spurs in the lead early doors here.
He played in that sort of position, didn't he, against Leicester, so something that maybe, I don't know, Mourinho sees in him that he can perform in that role. Obviously he likes the two holders, doesn't he, especially Hojbjerg and Winks.
Quick word on Matt Doherty, 302 appearances for Wolves, 28 goals in that time, was here for 10 years as their one of the most important long-serving players, and now he's back here, already leading with his new team.
Yeah, I mean, look, no one had more assists apart from Alexander-Arnold, more goal involvement last season. That's how good he was, Matt Doherty. And great to see him here. He is in the wing-back role, which obviously for Tottenham, which he did so well for Wolves.
Yeah, if they play three at the back, he certainly is perfect for that. When they've gone four, he's not been in the side this season, Matt Doherty, but Serge Aurier on the bench this evening, and Doherty back in the side. Defending to do here for the former Wolves man, who was their longest serving player, as his former team have it, but in fact they've not taken the chance to advance. They work it back towards their own penalty area, and Saiss, who looks to his right, and Connor Coady. 6 minutes gone here, Tottenham leading by a goal to nil, Wolves nil, Tottenham 1, and Ndombele in the first minute giving them the lead. Trying to work their way down the left hand side here are Wolves at Doherty's expense, but it's a good challenge there from the Irish international.
Well, they're certainly a lot smaller Wolves, aren't they, in terms of those players in the forward areas, very small and nimble, nippy. Moutinho, small, Fabio Silva's small. They're all quite not physically of the same as Spurs. A lot bigger, stronger, quicker players.
Spurs have won the ball in the centre of midfield into Kane, who tries to get away from Moutinho. Looks like Moutinho may well have just raked down the Achilles there of Harry Kane, or certainly that's what Harry Kane's made it look like.
Well, he picks the ball up though, a couple of yards over the halfway line in that sort of deeper position, which he has evolved into, hasn't he, under Mourinho? There's that deeper one, able to link it, and obviously his assists and his hold-up play superb, we know.
Here's Eric Dier, formerly a midfielder, firmly a defender these days, in the centre of a three. Davinson Sanchez on the right with Davis on the left. Ball down the right channel to Doherty, who gets there first before Marcal, and that's got to be a free kick to Spurs. And it is a free kick to Spurs.
Yeah, lovely little touch here. Doherty into Harry Winks, and his first touch is superb. Just loses his man. Then he puts Doherty in down the line, just nips in front of Marcal. That was a foul.
Of course, lost Doherty, Wolves, but also Jonny as well, who's sitting in the box today with Raul Jimenez, out injured for quite some time. So Marcal and Nelson Semedo have big boots to fill. defending here for Wolves to do. Heung-min Son over the ball on the right-hand side. It's about level with the penalty area, quite close to the sideline for Spurs. Son's right-footed delivery is deep. They've got a man over here. It's Davis. He can't win the header at the back post. Harry Kane and Roman Saiss were in a bit of a sandwich there at the back post, which maybe just prevented Davis getting the run on the ball.
Well, this is interesting, Tom, isn't it? Because when you do your research, as you do, don't you, Tom? You know, on these things.
You're saying I don't?
You look back.
You're saying I just turn up and do this?
No, well, you know, what do they? What are the stats for them in terms of, you know, league high points? What was it, 21, if not more, that they won from losing positions? So this is something that Wolves, I guess, are used to, and they've been able to overcome this. But
do I know this stat? Because I've done the research. Do you want to know?
You tell me.
Most points from losing positions and fewest drop from winning positions in the Premier League last season.
Yes, so what? It was well over 20. I think it's 21, 24.
It is 21,
like yeah. So, but the difference this season is, you know, they don't have some of those players. Your Jotas, your you know, Jimenez is at this moment in time. Your Matt Doherty's of this world. Traore's not quite performing for them. So that's the challenge, going down and then still trying to come back when you don't quite have the same quality, same level of player. That's the challenge they're facing this season.
Well, he has said they are willing to dip in the transfer market. Nuno Espirito Santo. Adama Traore has given a free kick away here. High boot from him. Not scored a goal, Adama Traore, in exactly 365 days in the Premier League. Given a free kick away there. Spurs already advancing on the other side, right-hand side. Son into Doherty. Intercepted there by the retreating Neto, helping out Marcal.
I was going to say that's a whole year, but for Wolves, their year season lasted even longer than that, didn't it?
Yes.
So quite incredible.
We live 365-day years.
Yes,
Wolves have 500-day years. That's how they do it. Yeah.
I think it was 383. There you go.
Is that in your research? Because I haven't got that.
Yes,
so you could be making that up for all I know.
No, that was their season last season.
You do your research, but you remember it as well. I need me notes. You know, your brain's too impressive.
You're doing about 5 jobs at this moment in time, aren't you, Tom? So.
That is true. I'm also cleaning my house whilst we're doing this commentary.
And cooking dinner.
Exactly right. For 12 and no one could come. Anyway, 10 minutes gone here. Wolves 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, and Ndombele with the early goal for Spurs. Wolves looking to respond. Moutinho with the flick out left towards Neto. Into touch there from João Moutinho, slightly heavy for Neto, and that'll be a throw in to Spurs. And thus far, with 10 minutes gone, Wolves haven't quite found their rhythm as yet. Moutinho, who has been such a sturdy performer for this side since coming in, playing in a slightly different role these days, as all the Wolves players are with this change in formation, asked to cover more ground at 34. And perhaps hasn't had a vintage campaign so far, but still a gifted technician.
Yeah, he is, but do you know what he needs in there? He needs legs. He needs Dedoncker. You know, when he does, it's not quite the same. It really isn't. That shift that Dedoncker puts in, you know, that allows other players like Moutinho to go and play. And when Dedonker's not in the team, it's a lot harder for them.
Yeah, still missing Dedoncker. This is the third game he's been out for, as Traore beats a couple of players here. Lovely skill onto Podence on the edge. Just took too long to get the shot away, Daniel Podence. And that's saved by Hugo Lloris with relative ease.
Well, this is terrific footwork from Traore. Just gets by Hojbjerg and then Reguilon cuts inside, sets it to Podence. His first touch is under him, so it's not actually away from his feet. That means his second one with the shot is a real poor one. Didn't make the most of that, Podence.
Goal kick taken short by Hugo Lloris. Decked out all in blue, deep blue, Everton blue it looks like, away to our left, and Wolves close down Dier, has to kick into touch. Brings Jose Mourinho to the edge of his technical area for the first time at Molineux. Bit of a sharp word there for Sanchez, Dier and Lloris as Podence takes a dive. Referee's not having it. Comes off looks like a Spurs man last for a Wolves throw. Podence has stayed down. One of those free kicks that they always try and get players when there's some sort of contact, for the want of a better word, and I'm quite pleased the referee's not given this.
Yes, so am I, and actually he's got a camera right above his face here, Podence. I mean, there was absolutely nothing. I don't know, I have to see this again. I mean, is there anything in this? A slight bit of contact on his heel, but...
A little rub on the heel. It's not going to send you down sprawling like that, is it? Come on now.
No. And this is obviously the facet, hasn't just come into the Premier League, but I go back to one game I saw in the Champions League, refereed by a Dutch ref, Makaleli, and he gave nothing. Players rolled around, he gave nothing. Before you know it, the game completely changed. Everyone got up, they stopped rolling around, and it was a much better game. That's what they need to do in the Premier League.
Agreed. Stop diving, stop giving the free kicks for dives, and you won't get it. Dive here from Fabio Silva in the penalty area, being held a bit by Davinson Sanchez, but miscontrolled really, and he then jumps to the ground wanting a penalty which isn't forthcoming. Lovely footwork and lovely power from Ndombele to get away from a couple of markers here and get Spurs upfield. Left to Reguilon from Hojbjerg onto Kane, back to Hojbjerg, finds Son, now 40 yards from goal, centre of the pitch, right to Ndombele. Lovely bit of footwork again from him, cross comes in, header towards goal. It's Reguilon with the header, brilliant from Tanganga Ndombele, just wide that time from the former Real Madrid man.
Yeah, he looks really confident now. They work the ball out well, out to the right hand side, good cross in with his left peg to Reguilon, who continued his run and just glanced the header wide.
Well, here's their club record signing, Tanganga Ndombele. I think it's fair to say it's been hit and miss since moving to the club from Lyon, but tonight a goal already, second as we say in the Premier League this season. Started 11 of the last 15 Premier League games. That's his best run for Spurs, and he just looks sharper than he ever has for Spurs at the minute.
I mean, he had a lot of injury problems, and you know, he did impress Tottenham when he played against them in the Champions League. That was when they were in the same group, I'm sure it is, as Barcelona. I could be wrong, but he was really good in those sort of games.
Good so far tonight. Let's have Spurs in the opening exchanges. They're coming forward again here as Wolves give it away. Kane round the corner to Son, blocked by Coady. Again one back by Spurs. Here's Kane in the pocket, left of centre, up against Moutinho, who slides in and wins it back well for Wolves. Into Traore. Moutinho around the corner, trying to release Nelson Semedo. Pass a little bit too heavy. Tough one to get towards Traore. Into touch for a throw. Taken into Harry Winks, who tonight is making his 100th Premier League appearance. Spurs give the ball away though. Young man Fabio Silva looks to carry them forward into Podence, short to Coutinho, just right of the centre circle in the Tottenham half. Chipped left to Marcal, who carries the ball forward. Fabio Silva makes a run, instead he goes left to Neto, into the feet of Podence. Short player, low centre of gravity, lovely footwork, gets the cross in, blocked by Davinson Sanchez. That's a corner.
Yeah, they built their way up the pitch quite well there, Wolves. Nice and intricate, managed to retain possession. They've got a corner, got a set piece. Obviously they've got some good height as well here. Coady, and the like, Saiss. So there'll be a threat at this corner.
Scoring goal, such a big issue right now. Just 2 goals from match play since the injury to Raul Jimenez. 2 penalties in there as well. Corner on the attacking left-hand side here. Coady in the penalty area. Taken short by Moutinho to Neto, who loops in a deep cross. Cody's underneath it here, heads across goal. Well, it looks like the free kick actually worked quite well, but then there's no one to get on the end of Cody's cutback.
Yeah, there was only one actual man in the box here, in the 6-yard box, that is. Really well worked to the back post. Coady just headed it back where it came from, but yeah, didn't make the most of that, Wolves. As you say, it looked like it was straight off the training ground.
Exactly what they would have worked on, apart from, the striker was missing. 17 minutes gone here. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1, Premier League Live. Here's Traore on the left, up against Davinson Sanchez. Lovely sliding challenge by Sanchez to win the ball back, and he clears under pressure too. Good play from Davinson Sanchez, who has fallen out of favour a little bit with Jose Mourinho. Ball upfield from him, sees Hojbjerg dispossessed by Moutinho, pass into Podence, foul given by referee Tierney. Davis on Podence, who doesn't need a second invitation to take a tumble. This time, despite putting some sauce on the goose, he does get the free kick.
Yeah, I mean, this is another dive from Hojbjerg here. I mean, he takes a touch, he doesn't see, I think it might have been Neves come and nick the ball off him, then he goes into Podence. Obviously Ben Davies a little bit late, but it all starts with Hojbjerg diving when he doesn't really see Neves coming to press him on his blind side, and this is a good chance because Saiss is good at set pieces. It's about 5 yards outside the box, just to the right of centre.
It's a lovely position.
I tell you what, this position is really similar to Granit Xhaka's for Arsenal.
Roman Saiss trying to pull a Xhaka. He's the only man over this. It is right of centre, as David Connolly says, about 25 to 30 yards from goal. 5-man wall for Spurs, and Ndombele crouched behind it. 2-man wall for Wolves. Saiss, couple of short steps, then a blast, hits the wall, second one's an air shot, then Ruben Neves picks it up, and Wolves have a chance to attack again. Outright to Neto, found by Semedo, away from Heung-min Son, good play, in the box, cut back, away by Dier, and Hojbjerg gives it a thump.
Yeah, brilliant play again from Neto. This time left foot step over, then he goes with his right, taking on Son. You've got to trust your pace and your speed against Son, but he does it really well, just the cross was cut out.
Semedo here, good control from him on the right hand side. Neves to Podence back to Semedo, who's dispossessed but then wins it back with the slide challenge. Silva right to Podence in the area, up against Davis, takes him on the outside, then the inside, looks to cut it back, straight to Ndombele. Took a long time to get bodies in the box there, did Wolves, and Podence couldn't find any of them. And Tottenham can counter here. Harry Kane, crossfield to Doherty, brings it down, plays it back to Sanchez, and Spurs happy to keep the ball in their own half.
Yeah, didn't quite make the most of that again though, Wolves, did they? A bit slow with that decision making, and the body language at times from Neto if a wrong decision is made, or Fabio Silva. You know, a couple of moans and groans, obviously. A few players unhappy.
20 minutes gone now. Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. Davinson Sanchez back in the Premier League fold. Started 4 of the opening 5 Premier League games this season, but not seen him start since the own goal against West Ham in that 3-3 draw back in October. All of his starts since then have come in the Europa League. On the right hand side of a back 3 tonight, Alderweireld on the bench. Wolves in possession with Ruben Neves. Right to Nelson Semedo. Midway inside Tottenham territory, but a long way from goal at the moment. Tottenham, as you'd imagine, under Mourinho, well set up to play without the football. Well, they've had the majority of it so far, 60-40 in their favour across the piece at this point. A lot of that because Wolves keep passing the ball into touch. This time it's Neto's misplaced ball. Yeah, a little bit heavy, and we've seen quite a few of those, haven't we? Little give and goes and passes over here. Really frustrating here for Nuno. Just saying, look, maybe saying settle down, you know, just really focus on that ball, take care of it. They've won it back. Moutinho into Podence, edge of the area, robbed by Ndombele, who can then power away from 3. 2 of them are fallen over, and he's still going here. What a run this is. Can he find a pass? Reguilon left with the drive. Saved by Rui Patricio. Superb stuff from Ndombele.
Superb, Tom. It was superb until, look, you've got Reguilon, a left back, on your left, and you've got Harry Kane, the best striker in world football, on your right, and he goes to his left back. What was he doing?
Yes.
I mean, you know, he's just ruined such good work. Brilliant play, breaks it up, then he races away from about 3 or 4 Wolves players. Then it's a 3v2. He's got Harry Kane on, he's got to give it to him on his right peg, gives it to Reguilon, the left back, just puts it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. I mean,
maybe he didn't know who it was on his left.
Geez.
Maybe he thought that was Kane.
Well, it doesn't matter, unless he thought it was Son. But,
yes.
You know, there's no excuse there. He's got to give it to his striker.
Issue here for Coady. He was sprinting back desperately there to try and prevent a goal. It looks like he may have some sort of muscle injury here, so he'll be taking some treatment for a couple of minutes. Great in the build-up there as... I mean, it looked picturesque for us. I'm sure it was annoying for Nuno that Ruben Neves slid in and actually took out a teammate trying to slide in. So there's 2 Wolves players falling over like useless henchmen in a Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Well, I mean, and I guess that sort of typified how Spurs like to play, right? Even when Wolves are attacking, you look where Harry Kane is positioned. He's about probably half the time 20 yards outside his own box, ready to pick it up. But to be fair, so is Son. They're all really, all 11 players in their own half. Then they get it, then they go, and then they break. And it's up to the likes of Son, and even Ndombele there just showed what a great ball carrier he is. You know, almost Traore-esque that was, wasn't it, in terms of how he broke and you know, really carried the ball up the pitch. But he's got to use Kane on his right hand side. I mean, I'd be screaming at him if that was me. Give me the ball. How can he go to your left back?
Well, Harry Kane certainly made that point to the goal scorer, Tanganga Ndombele. We're just seeing a replay on the monitors of his goal scored early doors. As you said earlier on, it looked on first viewing to me like it took a deflection, but it actually just spins away from, I think it's Saiss with the outstretched leg, and Rui Patricio's a great goalkeeper, saw it late, couldn't move, and maybe unsighted. Is that generous? Should the keeper have saved it?
Well, you know, he's had a long way to look at that ball. It's come from 22 yards out, and it wasn't exactly in the corner, was it, the shot? And he was pretty close to it, but he just reacted. It seemed to be a little bit too late.
Rui Patricio, usually such a solid goalkeeper for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but as we say, conceded in all of their last 7